Hey guys, Asher coming at you today, Raid Shadow Legends with another champion guide, this time on Royal Guard, the old school enemy max HP champion in the game, but there's a lot more to his kit than just the takedown, just the enemy max HP on that A2. Today we're going to go ahead and uncover and talk about why this champion is still one of the best out there in terms of all the epics inside the entire game of Raid Shadow Legends. But first, a few shout outs to you guys. We have Alex Montero, Ash, need Royal Guard build. Could you do Royal Guard next from 8 in Merc? We have Kupala looking for a Royal Guard. Okay, I saw a year ago. I didn't even know it had been that recent. I feel like it's been a couple years since we talked about Royal Guard here on the channel. We have Houter Dragon asking for some Tamisha as well. We have Dreams. Shout out to Royal Guard himself in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, asking why I put Foley ahead of him. We had Vladimir. We have Venom. We have a lot of requests for this champion. Let's go ahead and jump into it here. Let's take a look at his kit, talk about what this dude is delivering on and why he is so dang good. Again, High Elf, Epic Champion, Attack-based Champion, Magic Affinity on Royal Guard. Aesthetically, I mean, my man looks pretty good, right? He's a Royal Guard, right? He's a Royal Guard. There's no lore, unfortunately, for this champion. Otherwise, we would definitely get to it today. If we look at his base stats, 15k HP, I would say a little bit below average for an Epic Champion. His attack, 1531, certainly above average for an Epic Champion. And his defense at 771, certainly below average, as is his speed at 93. Very slow champion. On his A1, Razor Blade attacks one enemy, has a 65% chance of placing a decreased defense for 2 turns. On his A2, Takedown, AoE attack, 4-turn cooldown. You can book it for more damage, and usually we look at books for damage as a very bad use of books, skill tomes in this game, right? But we look at Takedown, an ability that's dealing like millions of damage against bosses. This extra 20% damage that you can get from this ability through books, and this applies really to any enemy max HP champion, is actually valuable. Now, is it quintessential that we book out this champion? No, absolutely not. But I just want to state that 20% extra damage, again, from this A2, even though there's no cooldown or anything like that, is definitely noteworthy. And again, that should be a flag on an enemy max HP champion. So there it is. Takedown, it scales on attack and enemy max HP. The attack multipliers, we'll look at them in just a second here, but I believe it's 2 plus a tenth of the enemy max HP. On the A3, hamstring ability, right? It's a cool ability, very good. 4-turn cooldown, attacks 4 times at random, each hit with a 75% chance, 80 with the sniper mastery if we go that route on the support tree, 75% chance to place the big version of decreased speed. Each hit also has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 25%. Now listen, the fact that it's 4 times at random and not a flat out AoE attack isn't desirable, right? It kind of sucks. However, 4 times at random is a lot better against bosses because each hit is doing something, meaning if it was an AoE attack, it'd be okay against a boss. We'd have a chance at depleting the target's turn meter. We'd have a chance at placing a decreased speed. It's still a good ability. But think about it this way. It's super dependable that against a boss, each hit with an independent 75% chance at landing that decreased speed, we're going to land it, right? And then on top of that, each hit with a turn meter decrease by 25%, that can easily fully deplete the target's turn meter. It's one of the better Fire Knight abilities in the game, despite him only having a 1-hitter on his A1. With, by the way, the big version of decrease defense. I think we mentioned this, but 65%, 70 with sniper. On his aura, attack in dungeons by 35%. That's a big boy, very healthy aura for dungeons. One of the best ones out there. So a lot of people will run Royal Guard as their aura lead, especially after they get to the point where they no longer need that extra defense from the aura lead or HP, right? They'll switch to either attack or speed depending on the complexion of the team. So he's got that as well. Let me go ahead and show you how I built this champion. Number of different ways, obviously, that you can build a champion like Royal Guard. Actually, before I pull up the build, let me just show you the multipliers. Hellhades.com gives him a 4 grade overall, 4-star. And you can see how good he is in multiple different areas of the game. Clan Boss 3, I agree with that. Hydra 5, I certainly agree with that. Doom Tower 3.5, Iron Twins, that's Doom Tower like random floors. Not that great against waves. Royal Guard, his A3 certainly helps out a decent amount. His A2 is not going to deal insane damage unless it's against bosses, because they need to have that high HP to get all that damage, obviously. So for that reason, he's also not much of an arena champion. Iron Twins, 4.5. Sand Devil, you guys can read the rest, but dungeons, man. I mean, when it comes to dungeons, he's a 5, straight up, right? 5 out of 5 in Spider, Fire Knight, Dragon, and he should be, for my money, a 5 out of 5 in Ice Golem as well, right? Because he's bringing the decreased speed, he's bringing the turn meter, and he's bringing all that damage. You just got to be careful in Ice Golem that you keep the team alive around him, because he hits so hard that he's going to cause those counterattacks fast and furious from the actual Ice Golem, right? Hard Mode Spider, he has a 5 out of 5 as well. Dark Fae, Frost Spider, and Eternal Dragon, his highest scores, and Magma Dragon on Doom Tower bosses. His multipliers, guys, are going to be a 3.3 on the A1, a 2 attack, plus, as I said, plus a 0.1% of the target's max HP, and then a 1.5 damage multiplier on his A3, but it is a 4-time hitter, and of course, all of his multipliers are based on attack other than the max HP on the A2. So, let's go ahead and show you how I built this dude. I love this build. It's a little bit more unorthodox, but, I mean, we could sit here on the channel and throw, generic sets on every single champion, but I like to switch things up and show you some maybe not unorthodox, but maybe some lesser use cases for some sets as well, because let's face it, right? We only have so many artifacts from the common set, Savage, Perception, that we always talk, Relentless, that we always talk about here on the channel. So I like looking, for use cases to use like Reflex sets and stuff like that, right? So Reflex, definitely the best set that you can farm from Ice Golem. It's really the only set that I'm after in Ice Golem, right? Let me just take a quick look here. I'll digress for just a quick minute. Is there anything else that I'm after in Ice Golem other than Reflex? What about you guys? I guess crit rate can be, advantageous here and there, but that's about it. Provoke set's not bad, but again, it's very niche. Retaliation's not bad that it's a 2 set, but really the only reason I personally farm Ice Golem during tournaments or events is for that Reflex gear. I love Reflex set after they buffed it. 40% chance to reduce the cooldown of one random skill by 1 turn. You proc that enough, it can be insane, especially for Hydra Clan Boss. Now, the reason that I have Reflex on him is because I use Royal Guard on one of my Hydra Clan Boss teams, right? It can obviously work and help in every other area of the game as well, but specifically Hydra Clan Boss, because in Hydra, I already have an AoE decreased speed on my team. I run Nekbo Thar, so I don't need another decreased speed champion on the team. So I shut off his A3 ability, and then that enemy max HP is the only skill that can have that reflex proc, that can have that turn meter or turn reduced by 1 turn. Ergo, tons of more damage. I mean, we're talking about 1 million damage per hit or whatever. It really does add up. So I like this build on him for Hydra Clan Boss specifically. But again, you don't have to turn off the A3. You don't have to turn off Hamstring. You can still, or Hamstring, excuse me, you can still run him in Reflex, and the cooldown's going to go to one of these 2 abilities. Both abilities are great in areas like the Fire Knight. So, in some areas, I'll shut off this A3. In a lot of areas, I'll just leave it running. But the Reflex still going to be beneficial to this champion, okay? Other different artifact sets that you can run this champion. You can run triple crit damage, just trying to min-max his critical damage. You can run, if you need him to survive if he's dying because he is quite a squishy champion, you can throw him in Immortal, right? You don't have to stress. The biggest takeaway from this build in terms of artifacts, right, is you do not have to stress attack on this champion at all. It does scale nicely. You can get a little bit of damage from the A1 and the A3, a little bit extra from the takedown, but on takedown, if we're dealing a 1,050,000 damage, it's going to be 50,000 coming from the attack and 1 million coming from the enemy max HP, and that's not going to change based on his attack. He's still going to hit incredibly hard with that. It's going to be based on only the enemy's champion's max HP. These are additive, these multipliers, so it's not like it's attack times something with the enemy max HP. I say all that to say, keep this dude alive first and foremost. When we look at his total stats here, 42K, 4,400 on the attack, 2,000 on the defense. You know, for end game content, obviously, it really depends on what the team is, who you're going against, et cetera, like how you can set up the team. But, you know, I like to try to get everybody to 2,000 defense in the end game, earlier than that, you know, you might ask, because I get this comment from time to time, how much defense do I need on X, Y, or Z? It depends. The number one obvious question that I would ask in return is, are you keeping them alive? If you are, then you've got enough, right? You've got enough defense. If not, then you might going to have to add a little bit more, and you can sacrifice on the attack on this champion. I am still aiming for 100% crit rate on this champion. I have 203 speed. I have 300 accuracy. He's not a very easy champion to build stat-wise. We talk about easy champions to build, are champions that only have to focus on a couple stats. On Royal Guard, you really have to focus almost everywhere. Again, we talked about you can let attack go a little bit, but you need enough HP and defense. HP to make sure that he's not getting aggro, because he's not a tank at all. And then you need enough defense to keep him alive on those AoE attacks. You need 100% crit rate to get some damage from this champion, and obviously he deals a lot of it. Crit damage is nice on this champion, and accuracy is also nice. I do see some people build this champion with no accuracy. If you're not depending on the A3, again, Hydra would be a good example of this. If we're not depending on the A3 for a decreased speed, then all we really have that requires accuracy is that decreased defense, which is very nice to have in his kit, especially against bosses. But against Hydra, man, I'm not concerned with accuracy at all in this champion. We do have accuracy on the banner, because this is an overall all-around build. You can use this in dungeons, you can use this in Hydra, you can use it anywhere. We have crit damage on his amulet, we have HP on the ring. Again, I stress, you don't have to go attack everywhere. Build in survivability on this champion. We actually have crit rate on the gauntlets on this champion, because I didn't have enough good reflex gear with crit rate as a substat. There's no worries with going crit rate on your nukers, your PvE nukers especially, guys. I see a lot of people really stressing out to get crit damage on all of their PvE nukers. You know what? You can go with crit rate. Do what I did. Throw a crit damage set on them instead. Go crit rate on the gauntlets, and you can still get a very respectable amount of crit damage on your champion. 227 crit damage is not that difficult to obtain without even going crit damage on the gauntlets. So don't always feel like you have to put crit damage on all of your nukers' gauntlets. You don't have to. I did go attack percentage on his chest to get a little bit extra damage, because exactly what I told you guys earlier. My Royal Guard, everywhere that I was using him, he wasn't dying, so there's no need to go with extra defense or extra HP. I'll go a little bit extra damage. Speed on the boots. For Masteries on this champion, guys, there's so many different ways to build this champion. Support tree obviously is incredibly advantageous on Royal Guard. If I was going to go support tree rather than the defense tree, again, this is a very Hydra-specific Mastery build, but let me talk about, you know what, let's redo it. I hate paying the gems. All right, guys, so we're going to build from scratch here. I'm going to go support tree. I'm going to go offense tree, so I'm going to move myself right in the middle here. We'll try to be fast here, but basically, I'm going to start with the most important tree. This champion is definitely going to be offense, so I'm going to start. I don't need the crit rate. Let me check to see. I'm almost positive I had him at, let's see, 103. So we don't need the crit rate, so let's not go for it. If you don't need it, don't go for it. Go for the attack instead and Blade Disciple. We're going to come down, pick up the Keen Strike. Now, what we want to be cognizant of, we'll go Heart of Glory. We will go with Single Out. We will go with Life Drinker. We will go with Cycle of Violence. Very important on this champion. 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted of a skill exceeds 30% of the target's max HP. That can happen a lot with Royal Guard. He does so much damage. So Cycle of Violence is great, and it kind of parlays, if you will, with the Reflex set. I'm also going to go with Bring It Down, higher max HP. That's going to be very advantageous as well. And I'm going to go with Methodical, a little bit more damage from his A1. We're going to come down here with Blood Shield, and then we're going to end things off with Flawless Execution for the extra 20% damage, critical damage, that is. So there we have it on the offense side of things. Now, on the support tree, we don't have many options. We're going to go with Pinpoint. We're going to go with Charge Focus. We're going to go with Swarm Smiter. We are going to go with, I guess we'll go Laura Steel. We only have one basic set. We'll get us an extra like 2 crit damage. We'll take it. I am actually going to go with Sniper to get the extra You could definitely make a case Master Hexer or Sniper there, but I do want the extra percentage on the decreased defense on his A1, as well as the decreased speed on his A3. Both are at, what, 65 or 75%? We can bump that up a little bit. So those are the Masteries, guys. You guys can go ahead and take a screenshot if you'd like, if you want to copy those. But I really love this build on this champion. Again, total stats here. Moves him up to 230 on the crit damage, 203. Everything looks good. He did drop a little bit of his defense there because we took away that support tree, so keep that in mind as well. We will be able to keep him alive. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this dude into... God, I have a couple dungeon teams set up for this guy. I want to show you Fire Knight 25, and I want to show you Ice Golem 25. We have Royal Guard in the lead. We have Lydia, a Kemptum, we have Cold Heart, and we have Wasgar. So it's a kind of a fun team here. Haven't ran a team exactly like this before. We have really our only support there is a little bit from Wasgar and a little bit, I would say, from the mitigation of that strengthen from Lydia the Death Siren. So what I would do probably on this team is I just kind of set this team up right now, right? But if I was going to run this team all the time on a level 25 Fire Knight, what I would do is I would definitely go with Phantom Touch. We haven't talked about Blessings, but I would definitely go Phantom Touch on Royal Guard. If not, I would probably go with Crushing Rend or Cruelty. Again, make the choice that makes sense for you and the team that you have. Those are the three masteries or blessings, excuse me, that I would look at for this champion. And if this is going to be my main team, right now I don't have any presets, but I would go in there in the presets, and I basically do the inverse of what we talked about, the opposite of what we talked about with Hydra Clan Boss, right? Instead of shutting off his A3, I actually would consider shutting off his A2. You might be saying, dude, Ash, that's bananas, bro. His A2 is the best part of his kit. Not against Fire Knight. Fire Knight is all about getting that shield down, and sure, if the RNG works, we'll be able to pull off that A2 on the Fire Knight. But the Fire Knight is all about control, you know? It's not necessarily about really, really min-maxing your damage at every single point in the battle. So I say all that to say that with a Reflex set, that cooldown is going to go right to the A3. That will help you get that Fire Knight shield down, and then he can land his decreased defense and be your debuffer and still land some decent damage with his A1 and his A3. Furthermore, he can still control the turn meter incredibly well against the Fire Knight with that A3 ability. It's insane, right? I mean, it's very, very good. He can get 100% turn meter reduction. So you can use him in a control fashion. Can we keep this team alive? We don't have any revivers on this squad. So let's see. A lot of debuffs, though. A Kemptum's an absolute monster of a champion too, huh? Wasgar has that puny little shield, but that's the only thing that's keeping this team alive right now. And it's working out pretty well. We got a little low, but it seems like, I don't want to speak too soon, it seems like, Cold Heart's like, wait, I could still ruin this run. Nethral's up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Cold Heart's going to stay alive. So anyway, you can make the case to shut off that A2 and just have that Reflex proc go to the A3 for the Fire Knight. However, it is nice getting all that damage from takedown, right, on that A2 ability. Let's see if we can pull it off here. Let's see what happens against the Fire Knight. On the next run, on the Ice Golem 25, I have another fun team put together for you guys. I don't think any legendaries on that team. I could be wrong. There might be one. But look at how fast this goes down, first of all. Let's see where... Okay, he goes hamstring right away, and right away, we land that decreased speed. Decreased speed, one of the most valuable debuffs for the Fire Knight, guys. I mean, I can't overstate enough. If you're having trouble with the Fire Knight anywhere in the game, hard mode, regular mode, any mode, look into getting a decreased speed champion. Whoever it is on your team, Royal Guard, anybody else. He's going to pull off a takedown, too. Decreased cooldown, it probably went to the A3, but it could have went to the A2. We'll see. I think takedown's going to be next either way. Let's see how much damage you can put out here. Ah, man. I was wrong. All right. Is the Fire Knight going to get that shield? Let's see. Let's see. Nope. Heartseeker comes through. Saves the day. Hamstring comes through again. And again, that was, you can see, more turn meters. So it's funny how both the enemy max HP champions, Cold Heart and Royal Guard, both also taking on the brunt of all, and you can see that takedown ability there too, taking the brunt of all the control on top of their other abilities in this fight. Pretty cool to see, right? They're adding a lot of value to this team. And again, we get the decreased cooldown. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough, but we're going to get this shield down in no time. And notice how I purposely am trying to not include a lure on every Fire Knight team anymore on these guides, guys. I hear you loud and clear. I think it was only one comment, but they're like, dude, I don't have a lure. And every time you show a Fire Knight normal team, it has a lure. Can you please stop doing that? I hear you. I will stop doing that. So again, Royal Guard puts out 1.7 mil, Akemtum 2.2 mil, Lydia almost 1 mil, and Cold Heart 1.2. So not too bad. Only out damaged by Akemtum, who is an absolute monster of a champion. On Ice Golem, I'll show you the team, then I'll come back at you when we get to the boss. Oh, it's a triple Reflex event right now. This is actually the perfect time to farm some Ice Golem. So we have Tyrell, who we just did a guide on yesterday. We have Skaramis, we have Miscreated Monster, we have Tagore, and we have Royal Guard. I'll come back to you guys when we actually get to the Ice Golem. Be right back. All right, guys, here we go against the Ice Golem. I just noticed, too, I didn't purposely pick all Magic Affinity champions. Just some of my faves, but I guess a lot of my faves are Magic Affinity, right? So I'm not going to show you Royal Guard in... and he goes down. Down goes Miscreated. Down goes Royal Guard there. But we do have a Reviver on the squad. We'll pick him right back up and get to the swing of things here. I'm not going to show you a Hydra run. However, I mean, it's pretty basic, right? We'd shut off, as I said, that A3, unless we needed the decreased speed, in which case we would leave it on, and kind of just go from there. On Ice Golem, though, we got to be careful with this champion. As I said earlier, right? He deals a lot of damage. He's probably going to trigger that counterattack. We need to make sure we have enough support on the team, which is why I have Tagore and Miscreated Monster both on this squad. In there, hopefully, we'll see, this is a... That's what we didn't want to have happen. I ran this team a couple times and we didn't fail, but luckily Tagore is going to revive everybody. But that's what we got to be careful of. I'm actually kind of glad that happened because it showed you exactly what I was trying to illustrate earlier, right? We can be very, very close call when we deal so much damage so fast to this Ice Golem. We can have close calls. We can be close call, Ash? I don't know about that, bro. Anyway, here we go. Getting back into the swing of things here. We could probably use another healer on this team as well, right? As much as I love Miscreated Monster, could probably sub him out for a healer, especially if you have like a really good legendary healer. Then, that being said, that was a big nuke that came in from Royal Guard, but we were nice and healthy. We were freshly healed. Both the minions were down, so everything was well. That's how we want things to go. But you can see we almost wiped with this squad. So I wouldn't say, just because of that one wipe, I would definitely not run this team on auto. You know, like, obviously clearing a dungeon for the first time is the ultimate goal for every new player out there. But after that, it's about making sure that it's a 100% efficiency, right? Meaning that we're not wasting energy on losses. So that was too close to call for me that we saw earlier, even though we are going to win this fight, this battle. I would probably go in there and maybe make a sacrifice somewhere. Maybe I take Skaramis out. Maybe I take Miscreated out. Maybe I add another Reviver. Maybe I add another like damage mitigator, healer, something like that. Anyway, guys, we get the job done. Tyrell 2.7 million, Tagore 2.2 million, Miscreated 2 million, 2.7 million, 2.3. Dude, what an evenly balanced team, huh? It's pretty crazy. What's really crazy about this is Tagore, over 1 million heals and over 2 million damage. That's absolutely nuts. Granted, he does have a 6-star Phantom Touch, so keep that in mind. Guys, there it is. That's your Royal Guard guide. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't think of anything else to say on this champion other than he's an absolute monster. Congratulations. Again, you can use this dude absolutely everywhere. Spider, Hydra are the two main areas that we didn't show in today's video, but, you know, a lot of you guys asked for a Spider demonstration, if you will. Let me just give you one quick. There's nothing, I don't need to change anything about this build, but a quick like Spider 20 run. All we have to do is basically throw him in with some enemy max HP champions. We'll just have Nut in there because why not, right? He deals so much damage anyway, or Newt. So let's just go in here with the A1, do a really quick Spider run, come in with the decreased defense. Come in with, I mean, this is insane. Boom, boom. Oh my God. 1.5 million damage per hit. Yeah, 1.7 million damage. Not too bad. It is an AoE. So there you go. Good job, Royal Guard. Much love, guys. Keep the champion requests coming. That's how I get all my guide ideas here on the channel. Thank you for watching. And as always, take care, guys.